Hello and welcome everybody, this is yours Lerock. It's time for a vlog sort of thing. Yeah, I'm trying something new here. So yeah, basically I went to see Man of Steel about a week ago. I've been trying to just kind of get in the mood of, actually doing a video of talking about some Team Fortress or something, but I started thinking, I haven't been in the mood to play Team Fortress 2 or between all my other videos, just kind of keep forgetting to talk about it. So I decided to try a vlog. So yeah. Um, not sure how to do this. This is kind of like my first vlog. So yeah, I guess just say what I thought about the movie. It was, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just kind of, uh, it wasn't the worst thing I ever saw, so that's good. It's not Last Airbender or Dragon Ball Evolution, even though I only saw Last Airbender. So yeah, the story is Superman's origin story, which I don't even care so much they did Superman's origin. I mean, it's been how many years since Superman Returns, and that was a box office bomb. Which I mean, the only thing that movie had going for was that was epically boring, especially for a Superman movie. But again, like I said, I like the origin stories. I don't like them all the time. Fix my hair there. I don't like that they rebooted the Spider-Man franchise after only 3 movies. And so I like that one. It was kind of okay. I mean, I like that they had the Lizard. They put new villains in there and gave Spider-Man more of the. I don't know. It felt like it was more like a Spider-Man. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Spider-Man. We're not here to talk about Marvel. We're here to talk about Superman. So yeah, the opening of the movie starts off on Krypton in its last week of existence, and to me, this is like the best part of the movie is when you're on Krypton. You're seeing Jor-El and Laurel and Zod and the Kryptonian Council and all that stuff. It's actually pretty cool. By the way, spoilers: Zod's in this one. Yeah, and he's such a wiener. I'm sorry, the guy that got playing Zod is not. Yeah, he has like this weird lisp with his voice that just does not fit Zod. Does not fit a general. But anyway, we'll get into that. We'll get into that more in detail. Uh, at a later time, I guess. So yeah. You start off in Krypton's in the dying days, and Jor-El and Laurel are getting the pods. Are getting Superman's pod fixed and getting it ready. And I guess we shouldn't call him Superman. I guess we should call him Kal-El because that's what he's called on Krypton. We'll move on to naming differently. That's one thing. They don't start calling him Superman until the very end. They kind of hinted it, and it's just they kind of start hinting at it towards the middle of the movie. And it's kind of well, how about and it's like it just ends. It's like you get completely interrupted there, and it's like yeah. So the whole movie isn't Superman; it's more of Clark Kent. Yeah. So yeah. So Jor-El and Laurel gets the pod, has the pod prepared and everything, and all they need now is the Codex. This mystical thing that the very first thing I thought of when I heard the Codex was the Codex of Ultimate Wisdom. The thing from Ultima. And the only reason I know that is because of Spoonie's review, so yeah. Actually, when I saw his review, he thought the same exact thing, so hey, minds think alike. I'm not exactly sure if I'm a great mind, but So he goes to ask the council for the Codex, and the Codex, they're like, no, we don't want to give you the Codex, even though it could save our species. And okay, so I have this bone to pick with how they decided Krypton got destroyed. It turns out that they mined too much mineral from it. That they had an energy crisis, so they decided to mine the core of the planet. I don't know how smart you have to know. Yeah, sorry. I don't know how smart you have to be to know this, but the core of the planet is basically what keeps all planets from imploding on themselves. So when you mine the core of a planet, that makes it very unstable and it can collapse and, implode and then blow up. Not sure necessarily blows up, it does something similar. You get the idea. Pretty much what you saw in the movie. If you saw the movie. Which basically just the planet just kind of blows up. Though it's a little, I don't know. I'm not a professional scientist, so yeah, I only play one on the internet. Wow, that has even less punch than it does when you play one on TV. How'd that happen? Anyway, so yeah, at that time, like, well, we might give you the codex. I think they said something like that, and then like all of a sudden Zod comes in and starts taking over. He's like he's gonna usurp the thrones, stuff like that. He kills one of the random politicians. Like, yeah, he kills one of the random politicians. Mrs. Krypton, politician number 2. I don't know. Politician number 2. I don't know. I'm sure in the credits she's listed as that one politician that died at Zod's hands on Krypton. But yeah, so yeah, Zod is like, I want to usurp the throne. I want to do what's best for our people, because that's all we have. So Jor-El, you got to get me the codex. And Jor-El's like, no, I'm not gonna get to the codex. I'm gonna get it and make sure it gets in the right hands. Zod gets angry. Hilariously so, because again, like I said, this guy is not. He did a great job as an actor, but like, he's not Zod. He looked like a weenie. I mean, all the other generals looked like actual generals. The woman that got to play not Ursa, the Tamana or whatever. They mentioned her name once, and like it's like starts with a T, and I didn't catch it, and they never mentioned it again. I'm just gonna call her Ursa, because I've seen Superman 2 once. And yeah, she looks better off as a general than he does. In fact, at one point in the movie, she's doing better than he is. But anyway, so yeah, so Jor-El goes and gets the codex, goes into this. They call it the Genesis device, and the first thing I thought of was Star Trek 2. Actually, technically, the first thing I thought of was Star Trek 3, and that creepy alien guy that says Genesis in a weird way. If you've seen the Nostalgia Critics review of Star Trek 3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like trying to imitate here, but it's like one of those. I know I'm not going to do it justice. But yeah, it's not this planet making device that's what it is in Star Trek. It's like this cloning device, how they make new Kryptonians, because like, yeah, Kryptonians aren't naturally born, except for Superman. He's the first one that was naturally born over 1,000 years, because they have like this controlled breeding thing. Yeah, I can't even begin to tell you the many ways that would be just wrong. They really make out the Kryptonians to be this unethical race, except for Jor-El and Laurel. Actually, I'm not even so sure about Laurel. She doesn't have any personality, which would be most of the characters in the movie don't have any personality, except for Jor-El. Oddly enough, the reason I say oddly enough is because I think he's played by Russell Crowe, and if I remember correctly. Is it Russell Crowe? No, is it Russell Crowe? No, Russell Crowe is Pa Kent. This is the other guy that can't act. Well, he was in Waterworld. I can't think of his name now. He's in Dances with Wolves. If that makes any sense, any more help for other people. He's the main guy in Waterworld who couldn't act worth a crap, worth anything. So yeah, either way, he gets the Codex, which is like this baby skull that like is half broken. So it's like, yeah, this apparently has all the genetic essence of Krypton, which I'm like sitting here thinking that's kind of a little weird. I guess on a cellular basis, it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, so he takes it, he puts it in the pod with Kal-El and sends him off. All while Zod's like going haywire, taking over Krypton. Um, but before he was able to get the pod lifted off, Jor-El gets killed by Zod. Like Zod spears him in the chest, and Laura-El is like has her hand on the button, about to push it. Zod's like, don't. She just pushes it. I don't even think she has. I don't even think she speaks in this. And then Zod's like, no. And the pod goes off. And right after that, you see a huge Kryptonian destroyer ship, flagship thing, like come up. Is like starts destroying all these little pod ships, that little battleships that Zod has, like these tiny little one-man pods, one-man ships get just blown away by this huge fleet of battle cruisers that just come into the air. And my first thought is, where were these when Zod was first attacking the Senate or the politicians? But yeah, that's pretty much the open. They flash freeze Zod and his Ursa, the big guy, I can't remember his name, that doesn't even make an appearance in this movie except for an armor. Then like 5 other people, and they send them into this ship, and they send it into a portal into the Phantom Zone, which is basically like an interdimensional prison. Then the movie technically starts with Clark Kent traveling the world at about the age of 30 with a beard about, well, a little worse than mine. I need a shave, I know. And he's, just kind of drifting from place to place, trying to help where he can and keep his secret. And so he's working like he's working on this crab ship, this crab cat, deadliest cat ship. I don't know why I think of that first. Oh, I know why. But yeah, so yeah, he's working on his craft ship, and he looks over and sees this oil liner in the distance, and it's like it's on fire or something. And these other guys are like, "Oh, someone should do something about that. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, new guy? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?" And so yeah, Clark swims over to the liner, saves a bunch of people. Some people see him, knows he's Superman now, even though he's not Superman yet. So yeah, and they save him, and he moves on to the next area. And he's on a bus. He starts having a flashback, and the first flashback is him saving a bunch of kids on the bus. If you've seen the trailers, you've pretty much seen the flashback. But what happens afterwards really gets me angry. So on the bus, he's just sitting there like minding his own business essentially, and this one kid's like, "Hey asswipe, what do you think?" And he's that bully kid, and it's like, one girl's like saying, "Leave him alone," whatever your name is. I can't remember. I don't even think he has a name. I don't even think, at least they don't mention it in the movie. And he's like, "Well, tell me something else, Dick Squeeze," or something like that, or something like that. It sounded like the minute I heard it, I was like, "Well, that's a new one. I never heard that before." I mean, I've heard a lot of names like that, but it's like that was new. So yeah, so he's ignoring him. He gets in the water. He saves the people, and then he goes back in the water to save the bully kid. And then we flash forward a few hours, I guess, later, and the bully's mom is concerned about Clark Kent, because he has powers, and we must be afraid of him, even though he saved your freaking kid, lady. Yeah, I hate this trope so much. I hate. They later on do another trope where the bullies are picking on him. Like, this is like years later when he's a teenager, the bullies are picking on him, like, fight back, and I'm just sitting here like, the kid saved your life like 5 years ago, and he pulled a bus. He pushed a bus out of a lake. Are you that stupid? Ugh. Also, another thing about this, apparently the people of Kansas are a bunch of idiots and just the worst people in the world. Yeah. according to I think the director Zack Snyder. Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, so he goes on. He's like looking on his way for Sorry about that, Niche. He's looking for his history as an alien, for any sign of his people, on Earth. Apparently, I guess they do a poor job of explaining this. Apparently, he must have heard about some like spaceship in the Arctic or something, because like the military knows about it, and like this is how we learned about it from like Lois Lane being sent down to the military and investigating it for a story or something. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It gets a little. They do their best of not explaining anything, and yet it feels like for a 2-hour movie. It feels like they go through everything so quickly. Like it feels like it's rushed. This movie feels like it's rushed. It's been rushed. Like everything about it was rushed. Like we gotta get to this point. We gotta get to this point fast. No, we don't have time to explain. No, we don't have time to explain. No. Explain it. Take the time to explain it. You got 2 hours on your side. If they made the action sequences half as long as they were, they would have not only been a lot better, but I think they would have been able to actually tell a story. But yeah, anyway, so it turns out underground, deep under the ice, is this a Kryptonian spaceship. I don't know what it was. It was like I don't know what it was. I think it was a colony ship or something. Which, so yeah, Clark Kent goes in there, finds the. He has this key that came with his spaceship. He puts it in, and it downloads his father Jor-El's personality into the ship, because Kryptonians can do that. That's pretty cool. So I'm thinking, okay, so this ship's going to be the Fortress of Solitude, right? That would be so awesome if it was. It doesn't turn out to be. He flies it out, he moves to a different area, and he gets his Superman suit that way, so everything is like from that. And his father explains why he sent his son off, which we saw that before, so yeah, they basically... We're going to get into another part of the movie here that I really didn't like, and this was, they restated everything at least 5 times. They kept reminding you that Superman's an alien. They kept reminding you that he has powers, but he has to wait for the right time to release them, to use them, which is something they did in every single flashback. Like his father's like, well, you can't use these powers yet because you're not. The time's not right. People won't accept you yet. You gotta wait for when people will accept you. And he does that like every single time. There's three flashbacks and they're all over the place chronologically. Like I said, the first one is when he's like in middle school, and there's another one where he's like a little kid, like he's first discovering his powers, and he's like unable to control them. And his mother Ma Kent teaches him. Kind of teaches him, like, says to focus on one thing and all that stuff. Then the third one is like he's a teenager and he's being bullied again. I've already went over that, how I don't like that one. So he finds the ship. He essentially becomes Superman without the name yet. He shaves, which I'm kind of surprised they have razor blades and mirrors on that ship. It didn't look like they did, but you know what? It's a cruise ship or something. It's a colony ship, I think, so it makes sense. The one thing right here, real quick with the colony ship, they go into this in the movie. Jor-El tells them the Kryptonians inhabited the stars. They went to other planets, and so this is the thing I gotta ask: why were they in a mineral energy crisis when they could just farm energy from another planet and bring it to Krypton? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. It just doesn't make any sense. Why did you have to drill the core of Krypton when you could have drilled the core of a neighboring planet very easily? I mean, you had hundreds of ships out there. Uh, whatever. Whatever. The plot demanded it, so yeah. Um, which I mean, in all honesty, that's a nitpick and all. To be fair, and so yeah, so he gets the ship. He flies it up to the North Pole because it was in the South Pole. Parks it right on top of a mountain, on top of an iceberg, in front of God and everyone, for lack of a better term. I'm thinking, okay, so this is gonna be the Fortress of Solitude now. That's pretty cool. It's a spaceship. That makes sense actually, especially since they can't use the crystals now, because Krypton did not have a single crystal. Nor did they mention Brainiac, which was kind of a shame. So yeah, then Zod comes in. Actually, no, before that. Then Lois Lane starts investigating Superman because he actually saves her from the ship's defenses. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not putting this in chronology. Like I said, this is my first try, and yeah. So he saved her from the ship's defenses, got her out, and then he flew the ship over to the North Pole, and yeah. So she's trying to find this mysterious guy out, and it all leads to Kansas. Back to Kansas, back to the Kents, and his mom was alive. His dad, I guess, passed away. Well, they tell you what happened to his dad. Right? At this point, you think he passed away. He passed away, so he's gone. And so she kind of tells Lois about Superman or Clark Kent's origins and all that, and how he went to find himself. And that's pretty much it for Lois. The rest of the movie, she's in there just for, I don't know, eye candy or something. I gotta go ahead and talk about Lois Lane here real quick. The actress they got for Lois Lane does not fit Lois Lane to me. When I think of Lois Lane, I think of the animated TV series. It's gung ho woman who's strong and at least seems independent, even though she does need Superman to save her. She's not afraid. She's not afraid to go beyond the Call of Duty and everything. And this poor woman, she just she has a very soft. She's very soft spoken and she's very low toned and it's just like it doesn't fit Lois Lane to me. It's not Lois. It's not what I see when I see Lois Lane. Which I mean, it would offend me more if the acting actually I shouldn't say the acting. The dialogue in this movie is terrible. The acting is so. The acting is okay. This is what you can do with the dialogue. All dialogue is just exposition and just telling you about stuff, just explaining stuff. But yeah, eventually so Lois goes to the grave site of Pa Kent. Yeah, he died before Superman became Superman. That's another thing I know a lot of people complained about. So yeah, Clark goes and tells her the origin, and you get another flashback. It's the same stuff as before, only in this case, Pa Kent dies in a tornado, saving their dog. I don't know how I feel about that trope. It's a little. That's a trope that I could take or leave, and it looks like it's about to rain. That's a trope I could take. It could be take it or leave it, and it's just kind of common sense should dictate to leave the dog out, or that the dog would have gotten out on its own. And looking at the situation, the dog should have been smart enough to get out on its own. I mean, it wasn't like it was trapped or anything. But yeah, it's like Pa Kent gets the dog out, and Clark is about to save him, and he goes, "No, I got to die now." And the tornado, like a dust storm, it's like a dust storm comes in, swoops in, and he's gone. Oh, that was the worst way you could have killed someone because that's not how a tornado works. And it's just so goofy. And yeah, like, seriously, Superman could have jumped in, jumped out. He could have saved him and no one would have seen. No one would have noticed. It's like, ugh. What they do with Pa Kent in this movie is like, this is not how, no. It's just, this is not how a father would act. It's not how someone who wants their son to be great would tell them to be, yeah. So yeah, now at this point, Zod comes to Earth, and he's like, I want the one called Kal-El. I think he gives him his actual name. His name is Clark Kent. We figured this out from watching your television stuff, or whatever, your radio interview. I don't know exactly how. I think he eventually finds out. It says I think he says Kal-El, and then it's later revealed that he's Clark Kent. Like someone else says it. How's the other person knows? I can't remember. Yeah, so Superman turns himself into the military, and he's like, he'll only talk to Lois Lane, so he abduct Lois Lane. Actually, I think they abduct her first, and then Superman. And he's bound in chains or bound in handcuffs, and he's talking to Lois, and there's like a one-way mirror, or two-way mirror, excuse me, where they can see and he can't. Oh, they think he can't. And she asks him what the S is. If you see, there's another trailer for it that explains the S. It's like, the S is a symbol of my people. It means hope. Well, here it's an S. How about it means soup? And then he gets up, and this is the part I mentioned earlier where they kind of start hinting at Superman's name and they stop it. And it's just he gets up, he looks in the mirror, he breaks the handcuffs, and he's like, I can see you back there. And he starts listening to all the different people back there, like by name, to like their name tags that they have, and they're like, oh, and I'm not your enemy. I'm here as a friend. You can't. You're afraid of what I can do, but I'm not gonna hurt you, or something like that. He's like, looking back at it, it's kind of goofy, but I don't have a complaint about that. It's kind of a neat little idea there. So he turns himself into Zod. Out comes Ursa. The Kryptonian military outfits actually look pretty cool. Like these full black masks, like these full black helmets, and like these oxygen things over the mouth. It actually looks pretty cool. And like the oxygen piece comes down, and then the mask like becomes transparent. And it actually, again, it looks really good. Everything about this movie looks good, and the music is good. And so you see Ursa there, and she's like, he also wants Lois Lane. Like, well, that wasn't part of the deal. I'm altering the deal. I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter any further. Yeah, essentially something like that. Not word for word, but you get the idea. So they're wearing like an oxygen mask. They put one on Lois because she can't handle the Kryptonian atmosphere inside their ships or something. I don't know exactly. It's kind of this weird kind of... And it's weird how they explain how Superman gets his powers, because on Krypton, Kryptonians don't have superpowers on Krypton. They only have it on Earth. And they say it's because of the sun's rays. That's why it is in the comics. In the movie, it's because of the Earth's atmosphere. I don't know exactly if that's how they put it, but that's what they lean towards more. So yeah, Superman into the Kryptonian ship. He starts getting really sick and he like passes out, and then he wakes up in Kansas. Obviously, this is a dream, because right across from him is Zod, wearing his version of the Superman suit with his little C crest on it instead of the S crest, which in all honesty looks pretty cool. He's like explaining, oh, I'm a general and you're not. I was bred to be a general. I can defeat you and all this other stuff. Like he's basically mind reading Superman, which I'm not sure how he's doing this. Again, it's a neat little scene. So yeah, if only they could. The actor who played Zod, I'm so sorry, but you do not make Zod. You look like, that's not how Zod should look. And I know they look somewhat like the Zod from Superman 2, but the Zod in Superman 2 looks more like a general than he does. And at least he had the benefit of doing Neo before Zod. But they should have totally done that in the movie. They didn't do that. I was watching a sibling rivalry, Doug Walker and Rob Walker's review of Man of Steel, and they said that there should have been just a scene where Zod is talking, and all of a sudden he just says Neo. And just for no reason. I agree. They should have done that. It would have made the movie 10 million times better. It would have made that worth the price of admission alone. So yeah, so he's like, I'm a general, I can defeat you and all that stuff. And he's like, tell me where the Codex is. Superman's like, I don't know where the Codex is. He's like, you lie, I know that you know where the Codex is. Your father gave it to you. Well, I didn't have it when I was born. All this other stuff. They get into this fight. For some reason, Superman gave Lois the key to his ship, which she puts into Zod's ship and it uploads Jor-El's personality in there, and he helps Lois escape. Which is probably the best part of the movie right there, because he gets her into the pod, he tells her what to do, how to modify the ship so that it blows up or something so that it can't destroy Earth. And then she's in the pod, and he's like, lean your head to the left a little bit. And she leans her head to the left, and one of the Kryptonian generals' hands is punched right next to her, breaks through the pod, which makes me wonder how in the world that thing is supposed to keep her safe in the blank atmosphere-lessness, no atmosphere of space, airlessness of space, the deep vacuum of space, when there's a giant gaping hole the size of a fist in there that would rip the pod to shreds as soon as it left the ship. But whatever. Continuity errors. Yeah, so she gets out. Superman gets out. He eventually breaks out. He sees the yellow sun's shining on him from the light, and he's gets stronger. Yeah, I'm strong now. Starts beating Zod up. He beats Zod out of the ship. Flies out, saves Lois from the now burning pod that burned up in the atmosphere. Saves her. Zod I think falls to the ground close to him. He's like, are you safe now? Yes, I'm safe. Okay, I gotta go beat up this guy real quick. Okay. Starts fighting Zod. He starts railing on Zod. I mean, he's destroying him. He beats his helmet through. His helmet breaks. It's this energy helmet thing. So he puts his hand on he starts seeing it it's pulling off. It's like melted plastic. If you ever melted plastic and lifted it up, you see it's pulling off like that. And he starts feeling all this stuff. He starts hearing everything, seeing everything. He's seeing through everything. It's all this my mind's breaking. What have you done to me? And Superman does the dumbest thing, and I was like, don't you dare. Oh, he's explaining how to control his powers. You idiot! Then Ursa comes and beats him into a Sears. I am not even kidding. You see the Sears sign, it's wow, the product placement for this is really bad. Earlier, Lois was in an IHOP trying to get information. That's what the bully kid grew up to be a manager of an IHOP. It's oh my gosh. Oh, the product placement is terrible in this movie. It is so blatant. This is so terrible. But they're fighting in the Sears. She is whooping his ass. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, and she beats him up. I think he finally gets a strike on her. He's her and the big guy. You see this big guy in armor. They throw a train at him at one point. You see this. So he saves these army guys in the helicopter. This army guy in the helicopter. I think it was a general. Are you okay? Get inside your house. Everyone get in your houses. That's the only safe place to go. And immediately you see this train hit him, and I think it runs into a house. And it's from the big guy. And so Ursula gets up, starts beating him up again. I think they're fighting on the streets. And I think they beat him up. I'm trying to remember what else happens. There's a period between this point and the next point that I'm trying to remember what happens. I think he manages to break their visors, their little helmet visor thingies as well, and make them see things as well. But she's so far done a much better job at fighting than Zada was. Um, yeah, during the time Zada's learning to control his powers as well. So they bring the other two in back to the ship, and they fly up. They kind of retreat for now, and they release what's called the World Engine. It's like this thing that they use to terraform the planet to their specification, like adjust the gravity and atmosphere. It flies on one end of the world. Their ship, which is kind of like a bigger version of it, flies down on top of Metropolis, and they start sending up beams between the two, between the core, and they start adjusting gravity. And it's this really cool effect. Like you see everything float up and then like slam down. Then you see float up and more stuff flies up and it slams down. This kind of keeps doing that back and forth. It's pretty cool actually. So Superman's we gotta stop this. Well, there's only one way we can stop this. We have to use the Phantom drives in your ship and collide them with his ship, and it'll destroy it. Yeah, because like missiles aren't gonna work because the gravity's like pulling all the missiles around, like just making everything go haywire. Um, I'm not even sure if missiles work anyway on a Kryptonian battle cruiser or battleship, or whatever it's called. Um, so yeah, they do that. They get everything ready. And meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Superman's trying to destroy the World Engine. I don't know why it's called a World Engine. It's kind of a weird name. But he starts fighting that, and then it gets into the tentacle territory. Yeah, it shoots out tentacles. And actually, one of the cool things about the Kryptonian technology, like they have like all the technology, like the spherical stuff. Like it's spherical and like it bonds to itself and like creates whatever it needs to create, like faces or whatever, and interfaces. It looks really cool, and so it does that with tentacles. And I'm like, my first thought right away was I have seen way too much hentai to know where this would be going in anything other than this movie. If this was Japan, I'd know exactly where this was going. That's the sad part. That's the first thing I thought in my head. Like it wasn't even so much. I know where this would be going if it was Japanese. It's just become that bad. It's become that much of a trope right there in itself. But of course, it doesn't go that way. It's not that kind of movie. And he's just basically fighting. And for some reason, his powers are weakened in this. The closer you get to these machines, because it's matching more of Krypton's atmosphere. So this is one of the things. This is why I said things get kind of weird about how he gets his powers, because it's from the atmosphere of the planet. But no, it's from the yellow sun's rays shining on him. No, I don't. It's weird. The only thing I can figure is that, it was generating this big puff of cloud over it, so maybe that's blocking off the yellow rays. But even then, he should still have enough reserve energy. And nitpick right there, nitpick. But yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. So they get ready to fire his pod into the ship, and he's fighting the whole thing, and eventually he the first thing I thought when I saw this is I thought Independence Day when the farmer pilot, the one pilot guy, the redneck hillbilly pilot flies directly into the beam and blows up the alien ship. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought. Like I hope they're not gonna do that, because they do. Superman just flies up. Just blows up the whole thing. It's like, oh my. The pod, they blow that up. I think like Ursa jumps into the ship and destroys it, and Lois puts the key into the pod. Like they're using like a giant bomber to carry it over. So like she puts the pod in, turns it on, and it starts reacting, but they don't get it flying because Ursa kills one of the pilots, and Lois falls out of the plane, and one of the other pilots is like, we're not gonna be able to get through this alive, are we? Like, nope. Okay, boom, suicides. Actually, it might have been Zod that jumped into the ship. I'm not sure. No, it was Ursa. It was Ursa because she was like using her Kryptonian superpowers that she somehow knew she had. Yeah, it's really weird. She doesn't. Again, I don't think she speaks a line of dialogue, but she's like one of the best characters in there because she just kicks total ass, and then she blows up. And so Zod's the only one left somehow. So he somehow finds the ship, which has a Genesis device of its own inside. The ship I'm talking about, like what I thought was a Fortress of Solitude, but it turns out, guess what? It's not. Really ticked me off when I found that out. Yeah, he flies up. He's like, this is our last chance to save our species. Superman's like, Krypton had their chance, and they blew it because of you. Well, that doesn't seem very fair, does it? No. But I'm supposed to be darker and edgier because our writers don't know how to write Superman. Instead, they know how to write Batman because apparently the guy who wrote the Dark Knight trilogy was writing for or not the guy who wrote, the director, Christopher Nolan, was co-directing this project. So, yeah. It does feel a lot like Batman. That's the sad part. And Superman is not supposed to feel like Batman. So yeah, he destroys the ship. Zod jumps out. So does Superman. They have this epic, I don't know, hour-long fight. It feels like it goes on for too long. Where they're in a destroyed part of Krypton, Metropolis, just destroying the buildings already. And they're like, oh no, we can't fight here. Why not? There's too many buildings here. We need to go someplace else. Okay. So they go to an inhabited part of Krypton and start fighting there, destroying all the skyscrapers there. And Zod's like, you're not gonna win. I am stronger. I'm a general. I was raised a general. You were raised a farm boy. I have more skill than you do. Only one of us is gonna live out of this fight and all this other crap. But by this point, I was yawning. I was seriously like, I never thought I'd be yawning during a fight scene. I was like, But yeah, so eventually they end up at a subway station. There's like a family of 4 in the corner of the subway, and like Superman's got Zod in a neck hold. And Zod's like looking at the family, like, there's only one way we're gonna get out of this. And he starts laser beaming slowly, like towards the family, and the family's just sitting here. The family's just sitting like, oh, we could just run away. No, they're just gonna sit here while he slowly gets closer. And my first thought is, why doesn't Superman just turn him around? Because it seems like he's in complete control at this point. But no, what he does, he breaks Zod's neck. Yeah, just snaps his neck. And then he has this big no moment. No! I killed someone, even though it wasn't established I don't kill people. And so, yeah. Then he tries to figure out, I need to find something to do with my life, so I'll become a reporter. That way I'll be able to keep my ear close to the news, close to the discussion, and no one will ever suspect a thing. And he goes to work for the Daily Planet, and of course Lois recognizes him, which is, I think, probably one of the best parts about this, is that at least she's not in the dark anymore. But yeah, so that was pretty much the end. That was pretty much the end of the movie, and it's like, okay. It sounds more interesting than it actually is, because again, most of it's a bunch of action scenes, and the way I can describe it is it feels like it's trying to be an art. It's an action movie that's trying to feel like it's an art movie, like it's trying to send some sort of message, and it utterly fails at that. So, yeah, I'm not gonna say don't see Superman in the theaters. I'm not gonna say don't see Superman or Man of Steel, but I will say wait for a DVD release or wait until it's in $1.50 theater and go see it then. That way you're not going to be paying, $8 to see a movie that you're probably going to get disappointed in. Though, I've heard some people actually like it, so, maybe they do. Maybe it's actually good, and I'm just, I'm just in the half of people that are crazy, and I don't know, maybe the other half is crazy or something, I don't know. So yeah. With that said, I'll see you guys later.